Hi guys, how we doing? Hope everything's good. Okay, so today I'm going to be making a remake of a video that I uploaded around 4 to 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was because it was such a long time ago, but the video is still relevant today. So one of the questions I get asked more often than any other question is, it's about Thai girls, guys who come out here and they meet girls, they become girlfriends. The guy doesn't live here full time, maybe runs his own business, he's got a job, but he comes out here quite regular. Some guys come out for more often than other guys and for longer periods, but everybody wants to know if their girlfriend is being faithful, if they've got the right girlfriend, or are they getting told a pack of lies. Okay, so guys will write to me and say, I met this girl in a bar over here, and we got on so well for 2 weeks, and I've decided to send her money every month to help support her, and she's told me she's not working now, and they ask me various questions. Now the thing is, I've even had people offer to pay me money to go into go-go bars to see if their girl's working or she's really not there, and I've always refused. The reason being is because I live here, and that's a very dangerous thing to do, because they pass information around very, very easily and quickly, and if they find out that you're the guy who's cut their income and that goes around the bars, you're not going to last very long at all. So I've always said, no, I won't do it, but I will offer some advice over the internet or on emails or comments. So okay, so this video I'm going to give you 20 points which will give you an indication if your girl is a player or she's a half decent girl. These are still relevant from when I made the video let's say 4 years ago. They're still relevant, some more than others, but I wouldn't panic if you listen to this list and you've got a Thai girlfriend and you're back in your own country and one or two of these are relevant to your girlfriend. I wouldn't panic about it and pick up the phone and finish it all. But if I read through the whole the list of 20 things to look out for, and she ticks say 19 of the boxes, and you might want to have another think, and I'll try and remember to offer you a little bit of advice at the end of the video about finding a decent Thai girlfriend, okay, rather than somebody who works in a bar. Right, so let's start off with number one. So my first tip, you could call it, is, did your Thai girlfriend approach you? So you're in a venue, you go over to a girl, ask her a name, buy her a drink, you've approached her, but were you somewhere that she's come to you and said hello? Because that's not a good sign, because Thai girls generally don't do that. They wouldn't approach you unless they're working in a beer bar or a go-go bar, something like that, and generally that's not a great sign. Okay, so that's the first one that's kicked us off today. My second point, to help you find out if she's a half decent girl or not, is, did you meet your girlfriend in any of the entertainment areas? So you've gone down to Soy Cowboy for a couple of drinks, and she may not be working in a bar. She might be there talking to some girls outside a bar dressed normally. Again, that's not a good sign, because what that means a lot of the time is that those girls that she's talking to are her friends, and it might be the case that the reason she's dressed normally is because she's already gone out with somebody, she's done what she's had to do, and she's come back to the bar, but she doesn't feel like going back to work, so she'll just stand around and maybe drink with her friends. And relevant to that point, did you meet your girlfriend near an entertainment venue? So, you go to, say, Soi 4 Nana Plaza. Before you get to the plaza, there's a whole street of food carts and pop-up tables, these little aluminium tables that they set up. And you might find a girl who's dressed normally, and she's sitting at one of these food tables outside Nana Plaza, and she's eating noodles. And you think, okay, well, she's not working in a bar. I've met her on the street. She's having her dinner. And again, that can fool people, because they'll think because they haven't actually caught her in a bar, then she must be a good girl. But the thing is, out of all the places to eat in Bangkok, why would she go and eat on a noodle stand right outside Nana Plaza? Okay, so another red flag there. This one, my point number 4, not so much now, but still relevant, and that is, does your Thai girlfriend smoke? Because generally normal Thai girls, they don't generally smoke. Maybe older women, when they get to sort of 40, 50 and they're married and just they do. Some of them take up smoking. Maybe younger kids these days, 19, 20-year-olds who go out to clubs and stuff. But generally speaking, Thai girls won't smoke, and you'll find a lot of the girls who work in the beer bars in Pattaya and Bangkok and what have you, you'll find a lot of them smoke. And again, that's another red flag, as is our next point, which is tattoos. Does she have tattoos? So again, 4 years ago, relatively no half decent Thai girls would get tattoos, because it was just taboo. They didn't do it. The only people who had tattoos back then really were bar girls and go-go dancers. But what you'll find now, it is becoming a little bit trendy. I've got two daughters, they've both got a tattoo, which I absolutely hate, and I told them not to do it, but they've gone ahead and done it anyway. And you'll find that a lot of girls now are getting little tattoos here and there, but a big giveaway really is if a girl is absolutely covered in tattoos. If you go to the go-go bars and you see them dancing in bikinis, what have you, you'll see some girls have got elaborate tattoos down their arms, across their backs. I mean, it's almost they almost look like Yakuza tattoos, you know. So again, that's another red flag, and on its own it's not enough, but if you mix it in with some other bits and pieces, then you know, it is a warning sign. So number 6, did she come alone on her first date, or did she bring a friend? So what's very, very normal here, again, this is changing a lot now, but it's still relevant. What's very, very normal is a guy will ask a girl on a date, arranges to meet at 7:30 at some particular restaurant, and he thinks she's, you know, it's one-on-one as we would have in the West. And a lot of times Thai girls will turn up with a friend, and that kind of gets guys surprised, you know, like, why she brought a friend, you know, I've got to pay twice for the bill now. But that's very, very normal in Thailand. It's kind of like a chaperone kind of deal that we used to have in the UK especially. And if she comes on her own, again, it's not really too relevant these days, because the times are modern times now. You can meet girls on apps and they'll turn up on their own, but it's just another thing you can look out for along with everything else. Okay. Number 7, does your Thai girlfriend, does her friends, so you've met this girl, she's now your girlfriend, all of her friends, do they all have foreign boyfriends? So again, that's not a good sign, because it means that they're, you know, if they've all got foreign boyfriends, did they work in a bar and that's where they met those guys? Where do they meet the foreign guys? You know, they've got to meet them somewhere, haven't they? So again, another red flag. Number 8, does your Thai girlfriend tell you she doesn't like Thai men? So what will happen in the bars, and if you're a regular to Thailand, you'll hear this again and again. You'll be talking to a girl in a bar and she'll say, oh, I not like Thai guys, I don't like Thai girls, Thai men. And the reason for that, obviously, is she wants you to think that she is genuinely interested in you. If she is that kind of girl, she works in a bar, and it just takes out the equation of a Thai guy being in the background, because they know we're aware of a lot of things that they do, devious things. And it's, you know, it's been proven time and time again, a lot of these girls, they'll have a foreign boyfriend, but in the background there'll be a husband or a long-term boyfriend. So by telling you, no, I don't like Thai men, that kind of takes that out of the picture. So you're thinking, well, she doesn't like Thai men, so she probably doesn't have a Thai boyfriend, which is another plus point for her. Number 9, is your Thai girlfriend always asking for money? So that's the biggest red flag, okay? So it's not normal for a Thai girl to ask for money, a normal Thai girl. There's nothing wrong with you helping out a Thai girl with little bits and pieces. I know plenty of guys here who have got Thai girlfriends. You know, they'll buy them a nice top that costs a few $100 in a mall, a pair of shoes. You know, they'll pay for the dinner, they'll pay all the bills when they go out for drinks, dinner, that sort of thing. But if you've got a girl who's asking you for large amounts of money and she's giving you excuses, she'll say something like, you know, I come from a poor family and my mother's ill and our family can't really afford the medicine, and it's very expensive, the medicine, what she needs, and it's going to cost us about 10,000 baht, and I don't know what to do. Can you help? I'll pay you back. It's you know, it's a typical bar girl story. That's what they do to make extra money. Okay, they plead on your, they give you sob stories. They'll tell you all sorts of things. You know, their brother had a crash on his motorcycle and he's in hospital. The father's had a problem on the farm. So if you've got a girl who's asking you outright for large sums of money, or even small sums of money, but it's regular, you know, every few days she wants 2,000 baht for this, 3,000 baht for that. She'll show you her electric bill. She hasn't got the money for the rent. That's the biggest red flag, guys. If she's asking for money all the time, you might want to think about having a bit of a change with your relationship. Number 10. Does your Thai girlfriend have foreign men on her social media apps? So, you know, everybody's got social media apps. I've got social media apps on my phone. In the UK, WhatsApp is big. Nobody uses Line. I don't think they've heard of Line, most people. Out here, it's Line. So if you if you're lucky enough to see your girlfriend's phone and she has other foreign men in there, then that's a real bad sign, because again, normal Thai women wouldn't have lots of different men on a phone. It's just not done. And I would say that was also a very big red flag to help you decide whether you've got a nice girl or not. And that ties in with my number 11, and that is your Thai girlfriend continually on her phone, but she hides the screen when she's next to you? You know the situation. You're sitting across in a restaurant. She's always on her phone. That's normal nowadays, though. They're all on the phones. We're all on the phones. I go out to eat with my friends. I try to put the phone down, but it's so tempting to pick it up and see if I've got any messages, and we all do it. But with the Thai girls, it's a little bit different if they're players. So what they'll do, they'll be tapping away on their screens and reading it. You might get up and go to the toilet, and as you pass her, you'll see the screen flip. She doesn't want you to see what's on there. So it's not so much that she's on. When I first originally made this video, I said if your Thai girlfriend is always on her phone, that's not a good sign. But I think that's all changed now. But certainly if she flips the screen or she turns the phone over every time you can see the screen, then that again is red flags. Okay, number 12. Is your Thai girlfriend comfortable showing affection in public? Okay, so what I mean by that, so you're walking down the street and she's got no problem with you putting your arms around her, kissing her in the street, being very touchy, very, very close, because again, it's only bar girls and go-go dancers, massage girls, that sort of thing, that will do that. Normal Thai girls, they don't show affection in public. They might hold hands nowadays. You go into a shopping mall and you walk around and you tell me in the comments how many people you've seen being affectionate in public. The Thais don't do it. It's all done behind closed doors. As I say, maybe holding hands, walking through a mall, but certainly not kissing and cuddling. And so if she hasn't got a problem with you doing that with her, or she does that with you, again, it's another red flag. That brings us on to number 13. Does your Thai girlfriend have friends that work in beer bars or other bars and go-go bars? So it's quite common sense, really. If all her friends are girls who work in beer bars and go-go bars, then why has she got those kind of girls as friends? It's obvious, because that's where she spends her time. She's either working in a go-go bar or a beer bar, and all her friends are her colleagues, you could say, okay? So again, that's not a good thing. Number 14, I'm flying through these now so it doesn't drag on too long. Number 14, does your Thai girlfriend have lots of expensive things like a nice handbag and the latest mobile phone, but she doesn't hold down a job, or she doesn't appear to have any kind of regular income? So we've all seen it with the bar girls. They'll have the latest iPhone. I think it's up to 15, 16 now. So I've just dated this video. They'll have a nice bag. They do some really good copy bags here in Thailand, so it might not necessarily be it'll be a branded bag, but maybe it's not genuine, but still they're expensive. Even the copies are not cheap. So if she's wearing, she's got the latest phone, the latest handbag, real nice clothes, and she doesn't work, where's she getting the money from? That's what you got to think. Has she got a few guys in the background who are sponsoring her? Does she do a little bit of part-time work? You know what I mean? Okay, so again, not a good sign. Okay, let's go right into number 15, and that's her language skills. Does she speak good English? So you've met a girl, she's told you that she lives in Isan, she's come down. In earlier conversations, she's not had any higher education. Maybe she left school when she was 14, 15, they do here, and she hasn't gone on to a higher education, but she speaks very, very good English. That's a massive red flag, because if a girl here speaks very, very good English, normally she's been educated and she'll hold down a good job, like she'll have a superior position in a bank, or she'll be a lawyer, or at least a junior lawyer, something like that. And generally speaking, she'll have a boyfriend or a husband who is on an equal level and has an equal level of education, normally university educated. So if you've met a girl who's come from a village and she hasn't been formally educated and she's speaking real good English, that's nice to be able to have the conversation, but it's a red flag. Number 16. Does your Thai girlfriend not value Thai culture anymore? So if you go into somewhere like Nana Plaza, you'll see the girls who are going into the bars, they have a spirit house at the entrance or just inside Nana Plaza, and they normally stop and they do the Y, and they're quite religious, the Thais, very religious actually, it's Buddhism. But sometimes you'll get the odd girl who doesn't really, she's kind of lost that culture up to a point. She won't why when she sees a spirit house. It's quite rare, but if you meet a girl who's like that, she doesn't really adhere to Thai customs. Like, she doesn't want to take her shoes off when she comes into a room. Even when she comes into your room, you're not Thai, but for the Thai culture, it's very disrespectful for her to enter your apartment or your room, your hotel room, and she just walks into the room wearing shoes. She knows what she's doing, and if she does that, then that's also not a good sign. Number 17, does your girlfriend wear a lot of gold? Okay, so as is everywhere around the world, gold is a commodity. Thai girls who work in bars, they like to wear gold. They like to buy gold when they've got surplus cash, because they can instantly turn it back into cash. So if it's high season here and they're having lots of customers and they've paid their rent and they've got lots of money, then they like to go out and start buying gold chains and chains that go around their neck and rings and what have you. When it's a little bit lean, maybe it's a slow time of the year, they haven't quite made enough money to pay their rent or whatever it is, then they can take some of that gold back to a gold shop and just for a very small fee, they'll get the cash back. So it's like instant money. But why it's a bad sound, is a bad red flag, is because it's gold's expensive, isn't it? Gold now, the last time I looked, it was just under 35,000 baht for around 15.6 grams, I think it is. In Thailand, they have two lots of bahts. They have money baht and they have the weight in baht. So you might have a 1 baht gold chain, but 1 baht, I think, is about 15.6 grams. Now, it's expensive. So if you see a girl who's wearing lots and lots of gold and she's not working, again, how was she able to get the income to wear that gold? That's a major red flag there. Okay, number 18, is your girlfriend loud in public? So, you know, it's one thing I really hate is when you go into a bar and you're having a game of pool or you're with some friends talking, and it's a beer bar. It's an enclosed beer bar. There's one on, so I won't name it, but there's one I went into recently with a friend. It's a quiet bar, but it has aircon. We were playing pool and there were 3 girls at the bar and there was a guy in between them, and they were shouting back and forth, but it was kind of like high-toned screaming, you know, and it just really irritates you. It gets on your nerves after a while. At first, it doesn't bother you, but if she's one of those, you know, again, normal Thai girls, they don't tend to scream and shout, and, you know, they'll go over to the other person and talk to them. They won't scream and reach out, you know, shout and scream like that. So again, that's another sign. Number 19, foreign men. Sometimes say hello to your girlfriend when you're walking down the street? So the scenario is this: you go into a restaurant, you're walking down the street, foreign guy's coming towards you, he waves or he stops or the girl stops and says his name, hello, and has a little brief conversation with him, and then you leave, and of course you're going to turn around and you're going to say, well, who's that? You're talking to that guy. And she's like, oh no, that's my friend's friend. He took her to dinner, and because I was on my own, they invited me, so I have to say hello. It's rubbish, absolutely rubbish. You know, a Thai girl just does not talk to a guy on the street, especially when she's with her long-term boyfriend. Okay, so if you're with a girl who's approached by a guy, okay, I'd let it go once. Let's let it go once, because that scenario could be true, couldn't it? It could be that she's got a friend who took them out to dinner, and the guy said, well, look, bring along your friend. But if it happens constantly, you know, 2-3 times, then something's not right, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to the last one. This is number 20. Does she tell you that these foreign men are just friends? Well, I'm kind of just touching on what I've just said there. So she'll either say, oh, it's a friend of a friend, or he took me to dinner, like I've just said, or he's just a friend. Okay, there's no way regular Thai girls just have friends as men. Not foreign men, anyway. Maybe old classmates or something, I don't know, colleagues at work. Okay, so those 20 points, as I said at the beginning of the video, there's some very relevant ones there. Some of them are a little bit dated now, like the tattoo and the smoking ones. But what I also said at the video is if you tick 1 or 2 of these off, it's nothing to panic about. But if I've gone through this 20 list and 18 of them is relevant to your girlfriend, you might need to dig further, and it's not a good sign if these are all shown up. So there's a couple of things I want to say while I end this video. First of all, with the go-go dancers, the massage girls and the beer bar, the girls who work in the beer bars, it's not absolutely 100% impossible not to find a nice girl, because I know people have done it, but it's kind of like betting on the green on a roulette wheel. You know, it's either going to land on the red or the black. It does occasionally land on the green, but it's so rare, it hardly ever happens. And that's what you're doing when you go and take a girl from a beer bar, okay? So it's not a good place to pick up a girl and try and make her your girlfriend. But as I say, occasionally I have known it to work, and a lot of times it doesn't work. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing I'd like to say is I don't want to be derogatory to girls who work in bars and nightclubs and that sort of thing, because it's all very well for me to sit here and criticize, which I'm not here to do. I'm just trying to give you guys warnings on what to look out for. But it's all very well for all of us to criticize. But you know, there's not the welfare system here. There's no government handing out cash like in our own countries. They do what they've got to do, and a lot of the time they're doing this to take care of families, you know, whole families up in East End, mothers, brothers, some of them have got babies, children, more than one. So, you know, you put yourself in their position, then you'd probably do the same. Okay, so nobody's trying to be derogatory towards those girls. I'm just trying to warn you that if you find a girl outside of the entertainment areas, don't automatically assume that she's 100% not a player, because these girls have to go, bar girls have to shop in malls, bar girls have to go to restaurants, you know, and if you meet one outside, it's harder to distinguish, isn't it? Right, how I'd like to end this video is, if you're seriously looking for a Thai girlfriend, a couple of things. So if you come here on a 2-week holiday, a decent Thai girl, she's not really going to be interested in you, okay? Because the reason they're on, I was going to say dating apps, that's a real good place to meet girls. Now, you've got to be careful, because there's a lot of scammers, Bitcoin scammers, there's all sorts of scammers. There's lady boys, people put up old photographs. But if you dig through and you do it properly, you can find a diamond in the rough. I know a lot of people who've met girls here on Thai Tinder, but you've got to put a nice profile up. You know, don't put a picture of you with your friends with a beer in your hand in a bar. That, you know, they'll hate that. You know, you want to make a nice bio with you know, and tell them all about yourself, and tell them what you like to do. You like to walk, watch movies, go to the, you know, nice meals. You know, you don't want to say like a smoke and a drink and I like chasing girls. That's the obvious, right? So you can meet nice girls on these dating apps. But what I'd say to you again is, if you're coming out here for a couple of weeks holiday, I wouldn't even really waste your time, because these girls, the reason they're on these apps is because they haven't had any luck out, you know, out wherever they go. So they're looking for somebody to be with, you know, a partner. They don't want to grow old and become spinsters and, you know, die alone, as it were. Sounds quite pitiful, but you know what I'm trying to say. So they're interested in guys who are going to spend a lot of time out here with a view to maybe moving out here, or maybe marrying that girl and taking her back to your country. So I'd say don't waste your time. If you're coming out here for 2 weeks, I often get guys who will say to me, oh, I'm coming to Thailand for 2 weeks, but I don't want to meet a bar girl. I want to meet a real decent girl. And what I say to them is, you know, you're only coming out for 2 weeks, you know, so take yourself a bar, go have a lot of fun, eat some nice food, sit on the beach, and go home and save up and do it next year. But, you know, don't waste your time trying to find a real nice one if you're only coming out here for 2 weeks, okay? You can run through these 20 tips again after the video finishes and just see if it's relevant to you. I hope they've helped you. I hope your girlfriend doesn't pop up too many red flags. And until the next time, thanks for listening to me, and I'll catch you all next time round.